lead. And one thing I wanted to say that, you see, in 2047, there will be an election in Kenya. And in that election, there will be issues that we will present to the people. Most likely, you'll be one of the people who will be running for president by then. Trust me, you'll have something to tell Kenyans that you want to do. Just the same way, I was a student leader in Kenyatta University many years ago. My brother is a student leader now. And imagine up to now, there is still something he has to tell the people. There are still issues. Okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is that issues will always exist. And one of the things that we must be able to tell ourselves is that one government cannot be able to solve all the challenges. But what we must be able to do is that we must be able to push government so that at the time of their existence, they can be able to move us forward. So that at the end of the day, we are not stagnating. We should be moving forward. You can be able to imagine that it's 250 years, if I'm not wrong, since America got independence. And the people running for president of America still have issues to tell the people that they will do. When you look at a subject like youth unemployment, in the UK now it's called a generational fault line. And the UK is 225 years old. And they still are grappling with this issue called youth unemployment. In Africa, we have kept calling it a ticking time bomb. So when we understand issues in that context, then we'll be able to understand that, wait a minute, then we should be looking at, are we making progress? Should be our best question, not have we eliminated it. Because the reality is that when we think about elimination, then we'll be practicing wishful thinking. But what we should be able to be conversing is, are we really, really moving forward? Are there steps that we are taking towards the right direction? And again, I've always said that when you want us to have a very sober conversation, especially we as young people, reduce the volume of your emotions. Reduce them totally, and then increase the volume of your reason. That way, we can all reason together. When I listen to her, and I'm already fixated that because I am two-term, she must not make sense, then both of us will not make sense. And if she listens to me and she's fixated that because she is one term and she thinks I am the other way, then we must not agree. Then at the end of the day, we can't move forward. So it should be that, can we be able to have contextual conversations? And the question that you are asking about government deliverables, sometimes it's hard to put ourselves in this situation of he said and she said. Someone says it's working, another one says it's not working, like the funding model. All of you are students, all of you in higher education, but some say it's working, others say it's not working. Now, can we sometimes just look at the things that we can all agree upon? For instance, isn't it true that our domestic workers were all over social media before the advent of this government, and they were always complaining of mistreatment? That is true, right? Are they there today? They are not there today. That simply means that government intervention with the negotiation of those contracts has worked. That one we can all agree. Can we be able to look at things that we can all agree upon, like the terrorism? At one point in this country, we were complaining about it's either Westgate or Garissa University or someone else, right? Since the advent of this government, have we been able to see terrorism activity in our country? No, we haven't. So we can all agree that that's a step in the right direction without mincing words. There was a time, there was banditry problem in Northeastern, and I'm sure all of us were in this country, including yourself. And at that time, every other day on the news, there was a banditry issue, right? Until George Natembeya became a celebrity, because he was always on TV talking about the banditry in Northeastern. In fact, that propelled him to become governor. Today, since the advent of this government, have we been able to see that as big an issue as it was before? We can all agree that it has been a step in the right direction. It is something that has been able to be done. So when we look at such kind of realities, we will get to realities like what we were discussing about our unga prices. I was in the previous government when we put up a subsidy to reduce the price of unga. It is a fact we all saw. When this government came on board, they removed that subsidy and the unga prices went up. And the argument was that let us subsidize production and not subsidize consumption. And they put up a subsidy and invested in the fertilizer. several months down the line, we can all agree that the unga prices actually came down and we had better stock. It is a reality. We can all agree, for those of you who come from central Kenya, that coffee pricing today is much higher than it was before. These are things that we all can be able to see and all of us can be able to agree upon. So that we run away. I'm trying to run away from issues where it's about what you say versus what I say. And we have those ones that are just, we can all be able to see. And how do you judge a government? You judge a government on the basis of its promise. Okay? So when this government came in, what did it promise? And what is it delivering? So we can have fundamental things that we also can agree upon, like, did this government promise the Hustler Fund? They did. Is the Hustler Fund there? It is. Okay. Right? Yeah. Did they promise affordable housing? They did. Is the affordable housing there? They are constructing those houses. Are they the numbers that they promised? That's a conversation of another day. They might not be up to the numbers that they actually said. Yeah. But are they actually doing it? So that way we can be able to converse and ask ourselves the fundamental questions of, are we seeing progress or are we not? And you must also be able to understand that policy formulation is done on the basis of the masses. My sister here wants to be a policy analyst. It is done on the basis of the masses. It is not subjective. So sometimes policy might not favor you, but also you must be keen to study whether you are part of the majority or the minority. For instance, today, maybe our viewers don't, I don't know whether Mwesh wanted viewers to know that we take tea when we arrive. It can be one of the motivations for someone to want to join us. Now, when all of us take tea and I arrive and I miss, my judgment of the quality of this show becomes very different. Yet I'm one person. Okay? Yeah. So sometimes it can be policy that is, because on policy you make it for the public. It is for public good. Yeah? And it can't meet everyone's threshold of expectation. So we must be able to understand, okay, with this policy formulation, is it serving the general public better? Like what the conversation about the university funding model. We must ask ourselves, and I like the contribution she makes. And I'm asking myself, so we must be able to ask ourselves, okay, what is the majority? Are the majority the ones benefiting or the ones not benefiting? And then what are the loopholes? And as we do that, we must also ask ourselves, is it true that there was a problem with our university funding? When I was in the university, my brother, in the same Kenyatta University, I don't know what the fee is today. We used to pay 16,000 and that was fee and accommodation, 16,800. Okay? And that was for both the parent who lives in Lavington and the one who has no ETIMS. Both of us paid 16,500. Was it fair? It was not fair. Because there was a parent who could pay it for the 5 years and forget about it. And as we sat in those KUSA offices, we still received forms of students who did not manage to pay fee. Some could call off semesters because of a fee balance of 800 shillings, 1,900 shillings. And that's why we started something called Somesha Mwenzako. I don't know whether it is still there. Meaning, even at that time when it was 16,500 and it was general, it was not equitable the way we would want to imagine. There were still others who could not afford it. Yet we had others who could pay it themselves, not their parents. True. So is it true that when government says this model is wrong and we must be able to categorize you according to your capacity, is government right? I would think that government is right. But then we can be able to discuss what is the framework of implementation so that we don't end up with a needy student put in the wrong band and another rich student put in the other band, so that at the end of the day it becomes progressive. So my view is that it is a progressive policy formulation, but what we need to be conversing and discussing is the implementation framework of it so that we make the implementation better. But when we argue as though the whole of it is useless and we should go back, sometimes we think the current things are wrong because we were not there in the past. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mundalo. Tumklokie jamani.